Welcome to the While My Batteries Charge podcast. Join us as we talk about all things radio control. And now, your host,
folks, this man, he is the king.
Mr. CCxRC himself, Tony CC.
Hey, what is going on, you guys? It's been over a month, almost 2 months since the last podcast. I had an injury that really kept me from getting up here to my podcast setup. That happened shortly after the last podcast. So June 30th was the last one. It was from the Monster Jam World Finals with the guys from Losi. And then I came home, and on the 4th of July, I was out fishing and hanging out on a boat with my family, and we went to this area we love. It's really shallow. We like to just, throw the anchor out and then jump off the boat and just be kind of lounging. It's about waist deep, knee deep, waist deep, depending on where you are. And I jumped out of the boat earlier with my rod in my hand, my fishing rod, and it was fine. But for some reason, I went off a different spot, and it was quite a bit shallower, and I was still expecting it to be shallow, but for some reason it hit the ground before I was ready underneath, and really messed my knee up, and I wasn't able to do stairs, barely was walking with it, so just no strength at all in it, and I hadn't been up to the studio really in over a month, and just started making my way back up here, and but at that point, it's been busy. So, back at it. I'm up here working on a few things and getting some more videos ready for you guys for YouTube. And really excited. But there's so much new stuff since the last time we talked. I finally got my Losi Promoto, which is absolutely amazing in my opinion. Totally different than anything RC that I've ever done. And I'm really enjoying that. I still am all in on the minis, guys, so that's one thing to talk about. We've been doing the monster trucks, took them down, like I said, to Monster Jam World Finals. My buddy Travis has been running some monster trucks with me, LMTs. So we've been running the monster trucks again. I have video footage of it. I haven't had time to edit or whatever. We've done a few comps that are just like fun comps. And, we did the monster truck comp, and we did the little mini comps. So just haven't been able to get to it, guys. Just life has been super busy. And I've taken on kind of like a volunteer role at our church. One of the, our worship or music director, stepped down. And so they found out that I had studied music back in college and asked if I could step in and help fill the void. So I've been working on that, working with the teams that are there. So it's a lot of volunteers and just kind of organizing it all and making sure that the Sundays are covered. So it's been busy, like managing scheduling and all of that, and with volunteers and trying to get everything prepped and all the song stuff ready for everybody. And yeah, it's a lot. So that's part of it. That's been what's going on the side for me, and taking up my evenings as well. So I haven't been able to dedicate my whole day like I used to in the past to RC. Morning, afternoon, and then after, I'd hang out with the family, and then people would go to bed, and I'd do more, and I'd edit, and I'd jump on live streams, and I'd do a whole bunch of stuff, and I just haven't been able to do the evening part of it as much. And then the day has been filled up with, fulfilling orders and all that kind of stuff, responding to comments and questions and different things that I get. So all that to say, there's a lot coming still. I just need to get time to sit down and edit. I've got a video of the new Team Associated Datsun 620, the 70s looking Datsun truck. Looks super sick. And took it out for a run already, did the unboxing already, just haven't been able to get to editing it this weekend. I still am trying to take some time off on the weekend, so like if this is work for me now, like, it's too easy to just work nonstop. And so I'm trying to guard a little bit of time to focus on whatever the family wants to do. And the boys have been getting into disc golf, and so taking them disc golfing and whatnot, normal yard stuff we have to do in maintenance, or the boat, taking them out on the boat, tubing or whatever. So there's the family stuff going on as well. And I've really tried to guard the weekends, not respond too much to, messages that come in or any of that. So Mondays get really busy, kind of jumping on all of that, because I really try to respond as best I can to things that are questions that I that are directed specifically toward me through messengers and things like that when I can. So, so that's all kind of what I'm doing today. I do have the memory card for the Apex 2 unboxing in my pocket. I've got the footage. Unfortunately, it's super windy, so I'm just going to have to narrate that video because there's no way. I just realized it's not even worth trying to get the audio. It was so windy. And so I actually took my kids out so they could disc golf while I ran this in a parking lot. It was perfect because where we were going was behind a church that has disc golf. They've got like 9 holes or whatever. They're just out kind of in the open for them to practice. And then that allowed me to drive in the parking lot. There is an on-road car, nice little dirt area too, because I can't stay on road for very long. But it needed to be low, it needed to not be super loose, and it needed to not be something where the car would, bottom out and get stuck in grass or whatever, because it's really low body and chassis on the Apex 2 style, like touring car, rally car-ish chassis that it has. And so I did that for a while. They did disc golf. Then we went and actually went to a disc golf course after they did that because they were super good. They've been super helpful to me with a couple videos, shooting and driving the cars. So we did the other team associated, the Pro 2 DK10, like the Dakar style rally looking short wheelbase vehicle that they have. And that thing is super fun, 2-wheel drive, based on a very proven platform. It wasn't like way adventurous of them to come out with this RC. Basically, it's like taking their Pro 2 short course and kind of mixing it with their buggy and kind of shortening it up and making this kind of 2-wheel drive, really fun short wheelbase Dakar style car. I have a blast driving. I still bring it out and drive it, and that just got it 2 weeks ago, and we've been out driving it 4 times maybe. So just because it's been fun, sometimes we'll get in, we'll do the videos, we'll knock out 1 or 2 and then, shelf the car for a while because there's other videos to do. But I keep pulling this one out because I don't know. There's this point in RC where you've done quite a bit, and it's like almost the simplicity of the 2-wheel drive just added this fun factor to it that, kind of was missing for a little bit there for me. I don't know how to explain it, but it's been so fun. Same with the motorcycle. Not the easiest thing to drive in the world. Requires kind of big open spaces. Loose dirt's tricky if you're not keeping it moving. Hard to turn, like it'll wash out, and then you got to go pick it up and that because it's not going to stand itself back up in that loose dirt. So really hard pack is the best for it, but we have grass and we have like a sandy loose dirt, and so we go straight through that and hit the jumps in that, and then kind of turn in the grass beyond it. So, and we're gonna kind of keep it like that because I like the sand. I like the sand for my other cars. I love seeing it just fly behind them when you hit a jump. It just pulls the trails. It doesn't erode the same way that clay jumps do too with rain and all that. It just packs in more. So I do love having sand jumps, and the motorcycle doesn't actually do great with the sand, but if it's a big packed jump, it'll carry speed and jump it, which has been great. But it's new and it's different, and it's been so much fun. It's like this breath of fresh air. It's like starting over again in a way for me. Like it felt like that first RC car that I had, and that's why I've kind of been drawn to it. It doesn't like drive like it. It just is that feeling of when you get your first RC car and there's this wow factor and like, whoa, this is so cool that I'm actually doing this, and this car can jump and do all this cool stuff. Now it's like, man, this motorcycle, it's staying upright, it's doing all this stuff, and it actually was kind of, it was easy enough to get out of the box, just out and running and driving. And then, cycling through the modes, and where I think the dirt mode's the best, where it will wheelie, but also it's my favorite driving mode. I don't really drive it on cement. The cement just tears stuff up, so wears out your tires, all that kind of stuff. It handles great on it, but it'll tear it up. It'll tear it up faster for sure. So yeah, we've been running it in the side yard. My boys, actually only one of them's driven it. The other one has come out and filmed it with me, but he hasn't wanted to try it. I don't know why, but the other one loved it. My younger son, Dominic. And so anytime I'm out there, he's like, can I drive it? I'm like, yes, but we only have one battery. So you're gonna eat it all up. But we'll be getting another battery so we can have one on the charger and one in the motorcycle and just running. But the way that they came up with that flywheel and the whole process for turning on is different, and it definitely works. They did something really cool. So the Apex 2, going back to that, the Datsun drove really great, handled really well, super agile, not super fast on 2S. You know, it's just a brushed motor, but it's fast enough to have some fun with and rip around. And I'm sure that people will upgrade them. So it's a good starting point for you. Awesome looking body, and really, really rad car. DK10 wowed me more than I thought it would, and just brought this simplicity fun factor. It seems like it's probably not easy to break because of the speed that it goes, being two-wheel drive, and anything that does would be really kind of simple to fix, which is also really good and a nice thing about that. So those we've been running, Sen Racing came out with an awesome 8th scale rally car, the M Sport Puma, and that Ford is super like Fiesta style, super cool rally car. Red Bull, all of the decals and all that from the M Sport team and all that, and man, it's awesome. Brushless, fast on 2S, wicked fast, almost 50 miles an hour on 3S. Faster than what you probably need it to be for what a rally car would do for the people that race them and all that. I had some trouble where I went with it, and we ran it on cement, and it was awesome. Really good, super great handling. No issues except for the body. If you hit a bump, the body would shift forward on the body post, and it would suck up that back plastic part that was like scooped really tight around the tire. So I ended up just I kind of foresaw the problem happening a little bit. Had a buddy of mine also reach out to me about it, so I kind of was expecting it and knew about it because he'd also gotten the car to review, and I was like, I don't know if it'll happen, but I'm gonna bring scissors just in case. And so it did happen. I mean, it took like jumping off a curb and some things like that for it to happen, and that hitting on the front end would cause the body to shift forward, and it would catch and pull and basically like be a brake. And you'd have to stop and put it in reverse, and it would pop it out, and then you'd just keep driving. Kind of annoying. So I ended up cutting it. Really didn't have the issue much after that, except on a really hard hit at the end when we were kind of jumping it off of a sandbank. I noticed it in the video. I didn't actually notice it when I was driving that I had done that. Maybe because I cut it, it was easier for it to pop out, but I saw it for sure in the video suck up under there. But it really hadn't done that since we'd cut it before we went, because we cut it at the end of the cement running, and then we took it to run in the sand, which is where I really want to run it. But what I learned is I'm going to have to get some kind of cover, or like the ones that they make that Velcro on, or whatever, like a nylon. Almost some people have used like leggings before, stuff like that, and kind of made a cover that's able to breathe, almost like a screen, but it keeps the rocks out. Because the problem I was having was that the steering was jamming up because there were so many rocks. It's 4-wheel drive, and he was chucking them up. And if you saw the chassis on it, it's really like a bowl. It really drops in, and actually even like the front and the back of it kind of cover over. And so it just holds stuff in there, especially rocks and debris like that. So if you're going to be running, I saw other people running it off-road and in dirt and different things and didn't really have the issue, or didn't say that they were having an issue with it. But I pointed out that it was definitely an issue for me. And it was very problematic. We actually just stopped filming there in the sand because like, well, we got enough shots. This is not fun because it just keeps jamming and there's no steering, and then it gets stuck, because of where we were, if it was in too deep of sand or, you have to like kind of get through spots to get to where it's more packed walkways, which is what's fun. But if it didn't steer and it puts you off into a spot, then you have to go get it. Either be, high centered on a grassy spot because tall weeds, and then, or in a sandy spot that was too sandy for it to actually get traction and take off. It basically high center, dig out holes. So it was just, it was a pain in the butt to try and film it. And so we just said, we'll just call it. And, but I did see people in like wood chips and other things, and they didn't seem to be having that issue, or they were just, they weren't having it enough that they, kind of mentioned it. But it was like very problematic for us. And we were able to get some shots and stuff where before it would lock up, we had, a good run with it, and then it would lock up. And, so we got a cool cinematic look, but made sure that we mentioned that it was not easy, and it was very problematic. I mean, we dumped so many rocks out of it and it would have already been dumped, and then I ran it in the parking lot there, and that's what it collected there. So definitely are going to want some kind of cover for it, whether I make it or somebody else comes out with it. And but very, very cool car from Sen. I'm not driving it in ideal conditions, and it's just kind of finding an issue. I don't think it'll be an issue for most people in how they'll drive it, unless you have a sandy, rocky. I mean, there's so many rocks in that sand. If you have a situation like that, then it might be a problem. But other than that, people running on dirt and cement, all those different things that I saw the videos of looked pretty wicked. So, but everybody else seemed to have the same body problem that I did. So, where it sucked in at the very back. But yeah, so that then Primal just came out with that fifth scale. There's just been so much stuff happening. I didn't get to see it. I was hoping to be able to get out there, but as I was mentioning before with the stuff with church, my weekend got changed up and was not able to make it out that weekend at all. I thought I was going to have Saturday, which also meant that I missed the No Limit RC Midwest National that they had that was super close by, a couple hours away, that I would have loved to have been a part of. But it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I had, Sunday was definitely booked, Saturday night too, and but I thought I could maybe squeeze in the Primal thing Saturday morning and then drive back for Saturday night. Anyway, it all ended up just kind of time schedules changed and my availability changed. So I didn't get to see it in person. I'm bummed. It looks super cool. Way different build than expected. Under the hood, in the way that all the suspension works. In fact, there's no suspension in the rear. It's just solid because it's a drag car. And then in the front, the way the shocks ride and all of that is completely different than like an A-arm style setup. It's more like a Tamiya or maybe even an old Kyosho's or something. Just an older style arm that goes out that has basically a post on it with a spring that it rides up and down on. So it only goes straight up and down. It doesn't angle in. So your tires, in theory, should stay pretty straight up and down. And probably it's done for better handling for what they're doing with the drag, is my guess. I don't know the decisions behind that, but it's definitely different than stuff I've seen and kind of interesting. So, people are going to love it. People are going to hate it. It's going to be, the people that love more scale are going to probably not like it as much. People that want performance may like it. Again, I don't know. I don't know if it helps with performance or not, but it was a decision they made, and it's definitely interesting. So the body, however, is insane. And the way that the lights come on when you click the body into place is super cool. So they did do some interesting things with the design of that. One of the other things we've been working on and talking about, we just had a live stream with Jeff Brown, but the Great Lakes Gauntlet is coming up soon. It's like 30 days away-ish. So it's September, mid-September, and it's already mid to late August as we're speaking here. But September 22nd, 23rd, is the Great Lakes Gauntlet. It is right now August 21st, so almost a month away exactly. And lots going to be happening with that. Going to be a ton of people there. I just know it's going to be another awesome year. Hopefully weather will be as fantastic as it has been the last couple years, because it's been perfect weather. And yeah, they're working on the course hard. Things are getting done there, and I'm looking forward to it. We're doing the mini comp again. Looks like classes this year, we're going to keep the same type of classes we did last year, which was like 12 and under, brushed, and brushless classes. Just simple for judges. We'll just know whether it's brushed or brushless and go from there. There's no real stock class or anything like that. And then I think this year we're going to add a four-wheel steer class, but that's just whatever it is, four-wheel steer. So, yeah, that's kind of the best way to do it for us there. Keep it easy for everybody. Not a whole lot of rules. Do have to be 1.0 inch wheels. And then width, you can have whatever width you want. Just note the gates are not going to be super wide. And we are going to be doing it like a comp where hitting a gate is 10 points. Hand of God, I think, is 5 or 10 points. I have to look at the rules. But you get points for those things. And there's reverse penalties, only one penalty per gate for reversing, and then a winch penalty. So if you need to be winched up something, your truck can't make it up a hill or whatever. Hopefully we'll set the gates in a way where it's not like winching is necessary for most people. It will be more hopefully that it's just like a truck is just not making it up a hill or something. We don't want to have that. It slows things down too much to have too much winching. It'll kind of be just to save people from like a hand of God if they can't make up a gate or something because their tires slip or whatever. They can't find the line and they just need help. So that'll kind of be the main rules. Gate penalties, hand of God penalties, and so if you like roll over and have to get picked back up, or reverse, having to take a reverse, it will be timed only in the sense that you have to finish the course in the allotted amount of time, which will probably be 5 minutes to 6 minutes. And then your time will also be used in the case of a tie. So if people aren't hitting gates at all, but they're doing reverses and they have the same amount of reverses, maybe your top people, then we'll go by time if there's a tie. So that'll be the way that we do it. Keep it simple. We don't want to be focusing on the rules too much. We just kind of want to have people having fun with it, trying gates. Many people don't do a lot of comping with the minis, so having it available for them to try and see what theirs are capable of, and having like dedicated paths and also just seeing what they are capable of. Maybe they are interested in it but never knew that they could perform like they do, and they see what their truck does, but then watch somebody else's like conquer stuff that's crazy. So yeah, anyway, it's kind of a busy season coming up as well, just with all the stuff that's been out and announced. So then I will say that new jet boat that just came out, the Shreddy one, oh my goodness, from Promoto, that thing looks amazing. I think they're calling it 5th scale. It's supposedly pretty large. Looks really, really good. So, yeah, I mean, the releases they seem to have been kind of picking up. Summer tends to, I thought, be slow, but here it is August and stuff is just dropping like crazy with the Promoto and the crazy sales with that. Then all of this other stuff we just mentioned with the team associated was probably June, just before June, because the DK10, because I saw it at Horizon RC Fest. Because I remember when I talked about it with Pablo on our podcast, I'm like, man, it kind of looks weird. I don't like it at all. And then I saw it in person. I'm like, oh, it looks it looks all right in person. Like the things that I really despised about it, I think were photo related and the angles that they took the photos. But when you're just looking at it in real life, it didn't really bother me that much. I kind of like it. It has that Dakar kind of look to it with these smaller vehicles. So, like the Ford Fiesta that Sen did and all that. Just kind of awkward looking rounded cars that they rally with. It just kind of gives me that vibe and hatchback style. But yeah, I don't know what else we've got going on. Definitely going to have more mini stuff coming. I've got some mini builds. We got back into the mini monster trucks, the FMS Smasher. Got to do the high roller. I have one of those I need to do a video on. I've got some more content I want to do on four-wheel steer and things like that we'll talk about. So yeah, I need to get to it and need to start knocking these podcasts out more. And yeah, now that I'm able to do the stairs easily again, it took over a month for me to even really be able to use my left leg to put any pressure on for any type of like stair or whatever. I could walk and I could like stiff leg things, but it would give out a lot when I was walking, which is awkward. A really weird feeling. But now it's definitely like the healing's beginning and it's starting to strengthen up to where I can actually go upstairs using that leg instead of like one step at a time, which is so awkward to do, to be that guy. Like we went to CNF in concert and we had to go up all these stairs and I'm like one leg, one at a time, get them both on the same step, pull myself up with my right leg, stand, go to the next step. I was like traffic jam city. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of a quick synopsis, trying to keep it as concise as I can because I do have so much to jump to today. But I want to get a podcast out just talking about all the stuff that we've been doing, guys, and the yard work. I did so much with the Promoto coming out with redoing the side yard. That was another project that there's two projects side yard, one of them fixing a water issue by our house, and then the second one being kind of trying to level the ground for the Promoto and just for monster trucks and stuff in general. And so we got that kind of leveled out more, and then a lot more dirt brought in, lots and lots of dirt. Probably about 50 to 60 yards of fill dirt and fill sand. So about 30 of sand and 30 to, wow, no, it was more than that. It was 30 definitely of sand, I think 40 of fill dirt. So yeah, lots of stuff that we've been working on. And then again, like I said, trying to do family stuff while we got this awesome weather outside. Michigan summers are the best. And there's so many hobbies that we do outside of even RC. We've really gotten into fishing, smallmouth fishing. We went on some charters. We went out on Lake Michigan and went lake trout and king salmon fishing on a charter, which was awesome. Got some big fish on that. And then we also went out on a fly fishing charter on a boat on the Muskegon River. And then we just go out weekly out on the river behind us, and we go smallmouth fishing. And we found a pretty good spot, pretty rocky bottom, and pulling out like 2 pound smallmouth, which for the river seemed like decent size. Every once in a while you get a little bigger one, but it's not like lake fishing where they sit sedimentary or whatever. They don't have there's a current, so they got to be swimming here. So they're usually a little bit thinner in the river. They're more athletic fish, I'll say. So we're not pulling out like big chunky ones like you find maybe that just sit in feast and then sit in a lake. So anyway, that now they've added disc golf, and I actually was one that got us into disc golf. Had a buddy at church. I just wanted to hang out, and I knew that was something he did, and I was interested in trying it. So he said he'd let me borrow some discs. And first hole, there's a church here called Wellspring Church, and they have 9 holes. Really, really well manicured 9 holes. Not big ones, I wouldn't say, like distance-wise. Not like you get at like Kensington Park and all that. Some of them that are like really have elevation changes and all this craziness in that. But the first one has a water feature, and I threw my first throw, and they said it was actually really good. Like distance-wise, they were pretty impressed. But it faded left. I don't know. It came pretty hard left. I still don't know all the terminology. That's such weird terminology with stable and overstable and hyzer and whatever. It's theirs. And so they're like, well, here, use this putter, but throw toward that tree. I'm like, right over the pond? They're like, yep, it'll hook back because the way that you release, you're kind of angling it. I tell you what, I threw that thing and it went straight as an arrow toward that tree and dropped it right in the pond. And we fished for it for a little bit and didn't find it because I was right at the edge, and so they have a little pole that they pull them out with, and they couldn't find it. So first hole, that I ever played, I threw it in the drink. But really nice course. Like I said, really well. It's like a golf course almost, the way that they manicure it, and they've got cement pads, tees, and I think I was 5 over par for the course for my first time. 4 or 5. They threw under, but I was over. But I didn't know what I was doing. They'd say, "Here, try this disc. Here, try that disc." So I replaced his Luna putter just yesterday. I gave it to him, but I have since in 2 weeks since then I now have 15 or 20 discs. We've kind of quickly jumped in. The boys, I didn't realize it had 2. They had a mid-range and a putter, and so I bought them a driver so we could just practice throwing in the yard. This has turned into learning to disc golf with the CCs. But we've just been throwing them in the front yard, and I can't count how many times they've nearly hit my truck, and I've really had to threaten them about that. There will be consequences if you dent my truck with a disc golf. But I've got them now throwing away from it, which is good. If you start from a truck and throw out, don't throw back at it. But anyway, so they had the 3 that they started with, and then we went to my mom sold her trailer, so I hooked it up and towed it out into Camping World in Grand Rapids, south of it. And so since we were out that way, we went to Great Lakes Disc Golf Store, and that was wow. And I just said to the guy, "Hey, we're new. I just played one. The boys thrown in the yard, and they've thrown their friends. Their friends have like 6 holes or something at their house on 20 acres in the woods, and they've played harder stuff probably than I have just at their friend's house. And so they've thrown with them. I said, we're just super beginner. What would you recommend?" They took us right over to the used rack and picked us out each like a used putter, mid-range, and fairway driver. No, nothing full driver because they said we couldn't get the speed of it yet. So anyway, we walked away from that with 6 discs in total, and then and then I posted a couple RCs and said, that I'd be willing to. I don't really want to trade, but typically with Facebook stuff. But at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'll put it up for cash or for disc golf stuff. And so from that, ended up getting a bunch more stuff, and we're actually going to head out today for lunch. Take a lunch break and head out with them before it gets too hot. The main temp seems to be going up midday, so try and get out before it gets too hot, throw a few discs, and come on home. It's crazy how many courses are around us. In Virginia, I totally forgot about it. My brother worked at Kensington and would bring me discs back 25 years ago or something like that, 20 years ago, and I'd give them out to kids or whatever when I worked with youth, and I never played it, and so I knew the kids would bring them to youth group and all that, and I just give them the disc that I would be given. So there at the end in Virginia, they put one in a park near us. I never saw anybody use it. One of my buddies said that he and his son went out and tried it, but there's snakes there, so like you throw discs off course into the woods, man. Good luck. Reaching around in there with the copperheads and the water moccasins. Have a great old time, you guys. Like, I would not have enjoyed that. If I ever got it off the fairway. Even on the fairway, walking through the woods can be annoying. So as far as bugs and the wildlife, the snakes in particular. But haven't really had any of that. Don't worry about it. We just walk through. Worst thing we're worrying about is poison ivy here. So you don't even think about walking in the woods in Michigan. Anyway, that got really off topic real quick, but that's something we're going to go out and do today. Got some RC cars I need to load up and drive as well and work on. I've got some new motors and stuff to test, new ESCs to test, all kinds of stuff that I won't even be doing videos on for you guys, but I'm testing for people and just kind of giving feedback on. So that's where some of the busyness comes from. Got to go do a bunch of orders here still for the day, finish up the Team Associated video, upload this, things like that. It just kind of every little thing kind of adds up into taking up a lot of time. And I'm not complaining about it. I love doing it. It's just why things are moving along slowly, because I'm trying to focus on getting a lot done and still taking time to do the little things that I think keep you grounded with the people in the hobby. So that's kind of where I want to stay. Anybody that's been following all the stuff blowing up with, I think it's Anthony Oliver, whatever, the bluegrass guy from the Virginia area, has been offered all these deals, but he's like, no, I want to stay small and local, feeling like I want to actually be in touch with the people and have control over the music and all this. And so anyway, that's kind of in a way how I feel with the RC stuff too, is like trying to definitely stay engaged with the people that have always been around since I started doing this, that, are my buddies, and answering the questions of people that are just getting into it. All that kind of stuff is important to me. So we're trying to keep doing that while there's all this other stuff kind of coming in and going on. So anyway, guys, hope that gives you a little bit of an idea of where things are coming from here and what we've got going on. But man, we're still fully into the hobby, fully enjoying it. And I know it's we're gonna get more time as fall rolls around here and just get more involved. So be on the lookout for a lot more content coming, guys. See you next time.